Hi there, I'm Bonnie, Log Cabin Stitcher. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my sewing room. You can follow me on Instagram at Bonnie Log Cabin Stitcher. This is going to be FlossTube number 27, but again it's going to be a wool focused video. This one will be hashtag woolalongfriends, the second one, because Lisa Prims on Greenway and I are hosting a wool along starting June 1st. So we are simply wanting to get people excited about wool, whether it's pulling projects out again that they haven't done in a while, or simply joining in with us if it's still something they do, or for some new adventure for a needlework project to do if you've never tried it. This one, I will be answering some questions that I had on my FlossTube video number 26 that I just did yesterday about my cross stitch, showing you some more patterns, giving you some more resources, and showing you the project that I will be working on this weekend to get me launched into the wool along. So we're going to jump in. I am feeling rushed and I need to keep calm. And I didn't prepare as much as normal because I have the light. This should be my last video that I have to worry about the light because I'm getting new blinds next week. But I will have the light coming in and messing with me. Or not messing with me, messing with what I'm trying to show you. So we're just going to do this. Now, Lisa has already done her second wool along video, so please check her channel out. She and I are kind of doing a tag team thing where things that I share are different than what she shares, yet some things go along with it. So it's been really neat to see what she shares and how we can just correlate and move forward in this. Now, winners. Okay, so in my wool along video number 1, I had 3 grab bags of wool felt that I was giving away. So one of my winners already responded to me. So the first winner was Diane Beckman. She got her first choice and she got grab bag number 2. So I commented on your comment, and I need you to send me an email with your mailing address within 3 days. So today is, what is today? I think today is the 28th. Yep, today's the 28th. So by June 1st, you need to give me your email and I'll ship off that to you. Then the second winner, Renee Riley, got grab bag number 3. So the same thing, I commented on your comment and I need you to send me your mailing address. And then Carla McCowix, I'm sure I'm not saying that right, but Carla already responded and she gets grab bag number 1. And so I already have her address. So I will be doing more giveaways in the future, but today is just one, just sharing some information, hopefully getting you all excited about starting with us June 1st. We're going to keep this up for a long time, so don't feel pressured if you're not able to start with us right on June 1st. And my table is quite a mess, so I'm just going to kind of be picking things up and sharing with you. Now, one comment that I got from Candy, she shared about her allergies with wool, and so she was already saying that she's going to use other fabrics, such as flannel and wovens that mimic the wool, so that she can do this along with us, and that's a great idea, and I have some great things to share with you regarding that. Then Rachel Q from Rachel Q Stitches asked about what threads that I was going to use. I have some that I'm going to share with you. And then Jan Richardson responded saying that to help deal with infestations with wool, she puts dried lavender flowers in with her wool. And I went up to my neighbors to snag some of her lavender flowers and they were not doing good. So I'm just going to buy a lavender plant for myself and dry those and put those in. And since I use Young Living essential oils, I'm going to figure out how to use I have in the past used sage, lavender, and then also cedar wood and put them on something to put in my wool. So there's lots of different ways. We will be sharing about those in the future. So those were just some comments that we got. Now, I want to share with you a couple things that will be helpful, as well as already talking about those the threads, the different materials that you can use. Now, this was a project that I had shared in a previous video that I found this, and I believe it is still available on Brenda Gervais Country Stitches Online. That is something that I had found that was already, all the pieces were cut. I've lost a couple pieces because they were just loose in a box. That was not a good idea. But instead of the fabric that I was going to use, I decided I am not going to, because I already have a wool mat that I like and I just want to get this done. So I pulled out some hand-dyed fabric that I had, and let's see, yep, they're all together. This is what I've got going. So I'm going to show you about these Wool Applique pins. So I am pinning this down and I am going to be stitching it. Now usually I have done the blanket stitch to stitch down my wool, but I am going to do something different this time. The pattern suggested just doing the whip stitch with 3 threads of embroidery floss. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it Maggie's way. So Carol Saltbuck Stitcher several weeks ago did a tutorial on how she does a current kit that I don't know if it's still available, but it's a current kit from Maggie Benartex, and she showed you step by step how to open the kit up, how to put it together, and already all the way through doing a couple stitches. Now in my playlist on my channel, I already have several different videos that would be helpful. One of them is a short video by Maggie on showing the thread that she uses. I believe it's Coats & Clark Summer Brown. I looked for that when I was at the store the other day and I didn't see it, but I searched online just to see what color that was. And it's a pretty dark brown. Then she also uses a white or a very light color if she's doing light, if she's doing something light. I am going to be using my DMC, so I'm going to be showing you the threads that I'm going to use in a moment when I talk about threads. So I will be simply doing the whip stitch Maggie's way to do it, just not with that thread, with thread that I already have. Then to be able to transfer it onto here, I wanted to show you how I did that. So let's put that down. So when I had my pattern, I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but there was a whole placement pattern. And so what I did was I got my light box. Recently I purchased this from Amazon, maybe like 6 months ago. Very thin. There's tons of them out there. So I had a viewer comment on one, and so I just purchased that. I want to say at the time it was like it was under $30. So very light USB cord. I have a USB plug in a light that I have on my quilting table, so I just did that. I put the pattern on top of the light box, and then I was able to just put it on top of there and pin my project from there. If you are not able to do that, there are different ways that you can go about doing that, but I'm not going to cover everything today. I just want to simply show you that way is how I did it, because I could see through that backing. And then next time we'll cover some more things. So this is just going to be certainly not an all-inclusive, know everything kind of video. We're just going to do it as we can and as we go along. So that's why I'm really going to be working on a lot of wool projects in June, so I can share with you my tips and techniques on how I am doing that. Now, okay, so the pins. I simply have them in here, but I think they're probably clover. I picked them up at Joann's fabric stores, but these are literally, they're called applique pins, so they're very short. So as opposed to the other pins that I use, let's see, how am I going to do this? Okay, so we see the head. So this is the applique pin. It is even a smaller head, but if I hold it up just like that, you can see it's only half the size. So as you are pinning that into the project, let's put that pin back, it's not sticking way out to catch your threads. So it's only sticking a small amount out, and so as you stitch and you get rid of more and more pins, definitely it makes it work easy. Again, there are many other techniques. There's a way of using steam a seam, and that way you don't even have to use pins. I will be doing some projects with that next month, so I'll share with you how I do that. Now, I picked this up. So this is a needle threader, and you can use it when you use thicker threads like pearl cotton and your thicker needles that you will be using. So that's a thicker threader. And I found out about that on an awesome book. I shared in much detail about this book in my past videos. But if any of you need to learn how to do wool applique, this book is still available, and you can even go, I believe it's Stitching with Lisa Bongine from Primitive Gatherings. She has tons of different videos. This is an amazing book, and there are things in there like techniques. So many, this is another way that I usually do wool applique. Using both freezer paper but also fusible web. So they give you, so she's going to share all about the techniques. Then there are also all these stitches that she will go into detail on. So the blanket stitch is one that I usually use. So that's going to be a little bit different on this one. And then there are lots of patterns. So one that I was interested in was this pincushion. So there are lots of patterns in there. So this book is a marvelous resource. There are also supplies, and that's how I saw about that needle threader. Then I'm going to be making a trip down to, I think it's Marietta or Menifee. I always get those two mixed up. But Primitive Gatherings is down in Southern California, so I'm going to be making a trip with a friend of mine down there, and I will be buying some more needles because I don't have embellishment needles. So that's a great needle that I need to get that I do not have. It's just a different shape. It is cylindrical rather than tapered. So you can do different, I think it's the couching stitch that you can do with that. I learned about it from that book. Now, let me share with you about threads as well as some resources. So I'm trying, even though I've got a mess on my table, my brain is scattered, and I want to try to make it as informative as possible, but it's kind of like all over the place because there is really so much to share, and I get so excited. Now, I had shown this on my Wool Along #1 video. So this is a project that I have. I have the blanket stitch. So there's two things I want to tell you about this. It was from the book Autumn Gatherings, and it's an older book by Lisa Bongine, Primitive Gatherings, but I was just on looking at an Etsy shop called Fiddlestix. So it's FiddlestixDesigns. And she has a lot of different wool applique kits and patterns. This one is available as a kit, and that's how I purchased this. I don't know that she just has a straight pattern. I think it was just the kit, which is a great way to start. You are going to get a lot of different wools. You know, yes, the kits of wool are expensive because wool is expensive, but you don't have a lot of overage. I have a little baggie with my leftovers from this project. So she sends you mostly what you need in that kit. Then there are a couple other patterns that I will show you that I saw on that site that you can still get, because most of the wool patterns that I have are older, because I got into wool maybe 20 years ago, and so a lot of the things that I have may not still be available. What I wanted to share with you was about the threads. So this is using the blanket stitch, and that book will show you how to do it. Then I wanted to show you the threads that I use. So I love using Valdoni pearl cotton. It is a matte, and it is more of the primitive look. You could also use DMC or Anchor pearl cotton. It just has more of a sheen, so it's less primitive. It's just your style. So I have 4, I'm looking at it now, I have 4 different drawers this size. These drawers are not available anymore, I don't think. These were Muji. I think it's like M-U-J-I. These were Muji drawers that I had when I was into makeup. And they're just acrylic drawers, but they were a great size because I could get the balls there and then I could see them. They look beautiful on my display. So there are 2 different sizes that I use, and I have a lot of different colors because I'm addicted to color, and I use these a lot. So you can get a size 12, and it's a good size ball that you would get. So whatever company you choose to buy, I love Valdoni, and primarily I have the variegated. I am now starting to buy the solid colors, but this is size 12, which is smaller. And let me find a size 8 to show you. I know that there is, here we go. This is a size 8, and I don't know if you can tell, but size 8, you can see it's a little bit plumper, but size 8 is a larger thread. I like the smaller thread. I use these when I do my hand quilting as well as my wool applique, but I like these because they are a little bit more primitive, and that's my style. So that's one thing that you can do. Now those, so price wise, these, it is about $5 to $6 per ball because it is a more expensive thread. It should be color fast, but if you go down to any of the box stores like Hobby Lobby, Michael's, I believe they carry the DMC balls. They would be much smaller, much less, it would cost much less. When I look out my window, I'm trying to just look at the little hole in my iPad for the camera, but my garden is doing all types of things outside and cars are driving all over. So I'm easily distracted. So different threads that you can use as options. Then, like I said, you can use embroidery floss, and you would want to use 2 to 3 thicknesses of that embroidery floss. That's something that you can do whether you do the blanket stitch or the whip stitch. Then on Maggie's video, I had never really paid attention that she just does a whip stitch with regular thread. Now, since I already told you I'm addicted to color, this is how I used to do my hand applique. I have a whole video when I first started doing floss tubes, I think it's number 4, and it talks about the different threads that I use. So I talk about DMC, and then I also have Aurifil that I use for my hand applique now. This DMC is a 50 weight, so it's a little bit thicker. When I sew with my sewing machine, I get Aurifil 50 weight. That's the weight that I prefer when I'm sewing. Now, the Aurifil 80 weight is what I now use for hand applique. It is very thin. So since Maggie uses a regular thread, I did look up, and there is something called Thread Advisor that I found. It was just a graphic when I just Googled it, and I wanted to find out, because when I have a lot of threads, but when I was looking at my Coats and Clark, it was hard to see what weight it was. I was assuming it's 50 weight, but the XP is polyester. I like using cotton, so whatever you use, like whatever Maggie uses, you know, she is amazing, so that would be great to use. But because I have so many DMCs, I will be using my DMC, and I will probably be, because I have such a collection, I will probably use a different color just based on what I'm stitching rather than just one neutral color. We'll see what I do when I actually get it done. So those are the threads that you can use. Many different options. Really, it comes down to 2 things. If you're on a budget, what do you already have, or what is not very expensive to go purchase, because you may not enjoy a new hobby, and so you don't want to invest a whole bunch of money into it if it's not something that you're going to take advantage of and use. Or what do you already have that you can use, or what is your style? So lots of different things to think about and using, but that's threads, and I'll share more along the way. Now, I also want to share about what you can stitch on. So there's lots of different talk, and I have talked about not having to use wool all the time as the background, because when you have that big background piece, it uses a lot of product. And if you're trying to go in new and you don't have a lot of money to spend to get a kit, or you just want to collect slowly, you can use different backgrounds. Like I showed you, that squirrel one is going to be just on hand-dyed fabric, cotton fabric. Well, I was playing around yesterday, and I showed on the FlossTube that I did, that I was just playing with coffee dyeing, and I had a little bit of an incident where I got distracted, and it sat for an hour before I actually put it outside. And it is interesting. It smells wonderful, but interesting to use. But this is a thicker weight. I don't know what this was, It is just a thicker weight, and it may be that utility cloth that Lisa was talking about. It was just something that I had left over as a project. Then I went to give some fabric. I shared about this in the video I did yesterday. I had, see, I had another incident. There's nothing like me and incidents. I'm learning though. This was something, this was a very, very light fabric that I had, and now the color, the sun is doing its thing coming in. But see, I wanted to primitize it. So I did a coffee dye batch yesterday, and I shared that. Then I thought, well, today I wanted it to be not so splotchy, so I put it in again, dry, absorbed that coffee, and I laid it out because it didn't fit on my, I couldn't get it in the oven because it was just a little bit too big to dry it. So I put it outside. Lesson learned. It's a metal table that has grooves, or not grooves, it has openings so things would air dry quickly. I moved it into the sun. Lesson learned, I need to put magnets to hold that down, because I went to pick it up and this in the sun had done that. And I have no idea why it did that, but now here we go again. Lesson learned. But I do like this better, where because this now background matches that a little bit more. This was just my incident from yesterday. So this is definitely my learning curve with coffee dyeing linen in different ways. It smells amazing. I had my husband smell it when it was wet, and it was like, oh, it smells so good because it uses instant coffee. But it's just something that I'm going to be experimenting with as I do my stitching, and I can use that for a background. And I have something in mind, a project that I'm going to share with you in a minute from a book that I don't know. I know it's not available right now, but hopefully you can find it. And it's a Maggie book, Maggie Benartex. So as far as, let's see, I'm just going to show you some things as I have it. So this is Maggie Benartex. So you can see how it's spelled if you search for it. I thought I got this book last year, like at Joann's, but maybe I got it longer ago. One time I almost didn't buy it, and because I thought, do I have that at home? And then I went home and I realized I didn't have it. And so next time I went by, I picked it up again. It is a wonderful book, and this one is a little bit different than her other ones, which mostly focus on wool. This does a variety of fabrics, and that's why I wanted to share it with you, because I was sure that it was available, but it was done in 2014. So you can often find used books. You can sometimes find a fabric store that still has it in stock. It is hard when we're sharing books that are not available at the moment, but just keep checking back. I think it was Thrift Books. They said that they get it, you know, it was in a little note that said they get these books like less than one every 6 months. So obviously things do come in, and hopefully you either have this in your stash or you're able to get it, or it's just going to be a little bit of inspiration. I don't like doing things where it drives people crazy because they cannot get these things. But I wanted to show you, not to belabor this wonderful book that you cannot get, but there are large projects, like a large wool project. I simply like these books because I don't get magazines anymore. I see these books as magazines because they are so beautiful. That same project done in rug hooking, which I do not do, but it's just a way to use wool strips and hook and be able to make different things. There's cross stitch in here, so that is a cross stitch project. And this is something I am really excited about making. So you can see, I believe that is velvet, and then this is cotton. Is that not delicious? So I would love to make it exactly like that. But again, not primarily wool. Let me flip to another page. I believe this, if you go on Lisa Prims on Greenway, I believe she just made this project. But I don't think it's from this book, but it is pictured in this book right here. So We shall see as I flip through. I really want to make these. So this is velvet. So Wool Applique, in these books, you're going to get inspired to do a lot of different projects. This is what I want to make, and this is why I re-dyed that. So I really want to make this. And as I was looking at it, the only thing that's wool, this looks like velvet actually, which I don't have, so I would just use wool. This is wool, but the rest of this is linens and cottons. So that's where I wanted to inspire you. Even if you don't have wool or have allergies to wool, you can do any project any way you want. You can take a regular cotton applique project and turn it into wool, or take a wool project and turn it into cotton applique. So simple, primitive, lots of fun ways to do things. Maggie does very primitive, beautiful projects. This is an awesome project, but again, it is not primarily wool. Honestly, these, a lot of them are dyed linens. This, because I just made a purchase the other day on Blackberry Primitives. I just purchased 2 linen, hand-dyed linen bundles. They are more expensive. Shipping was more expensive, but it's something that I really wanted because when I was on her site, there's a kit for this available in this lighter version and a darker version. But again, the flower itself is wool, cotton, and then linen. But oh, I want to make that. But again, you can just go on and get that kit or the pattern on Blackberry Primitives. Here's another project. That's another one that you could work on. And here's a close-up of that. This book was very, very different in the fact that there was a lot of cotton that was used. And then this makes my prim heart happy. I really would like to work on those. I'm looking at it and I think the leaves are the only thing that's wool in there. This. Okay, so we've got those pillows. Look at that. I love that. So a lot of different things, and I do hand quilting. So this is something that attracts me very much. And then look at the details. That's why I love, because of the sun coming in, I'm not sure if you're going to catch the hand stitching in there. But I love the details, and because I'm a hand quilter, I just love it. So this book, I have gone through many, many times. I have not made anything in it yet, but I look at it over and over because I just love, I love the details. We're going to flip forward to something. So these are stacks of wool, a wool project. Still some cotton, but wool. I was thinking, oh, it will be so fun to share this book because you can get it now. And I'm feeling guilty because it may not be available. But still, inspiration. That one's primarily wool. And, oh my gosh, look at this one. So very primitive, but primarily wovens and cottons. So hopefully you can take that positive and get inspired and hopefully not frustrated that this book may not be available. And it's so hard with different designers. Just off the top of my head, I'm thinking of Maggie Benartex, which is this, as well as Blackbird Designs, where sometimes those books are gone, and you do have to make that choice to invest in it now, even though you may not use it or not. But hopefully you would be able to find this book either now or later, or something similar, just to get inspired and be able to make something. Now, as far as different thoughts, Lisa was saying that one of her commenters or one of her viewers said that you can get wool, go to the thrift store and be able to get wool. This was actually at a trade show I went to. It was just a cut piece, obviously off of some clothes. I love the idea of doing a project with this. Maybe a needle book, maybe something, but the pocket is already there. So again, at thrift stores, you may be able to find wool garments and do something with that. Now, Bonnie Sullivan works with Maywood Studios, I believe it's called, and she does, I should have looked at it, but she does flannel designing. This is an older one that I got several years ago, but it's a layer cake of flannel, but she does things to mimic wool to make it more affordable. So this was not part of the packet, but I thought this is just flannel. This is flannel. This is the whole packet of different flannels that mimic wool. These are brighter colors, and there were darker colors in here. I don't know how old this set was, but I had it in different areas with all my flannels. But flannel is a much more affordable way, has that similar look, and I do have a big project that I'm going to be using black flannel as the background, because I'm not buying a big thing of black wool to do a project. For me, it would not be affordable. So I wanted to share with you just some more inspiration, some more ideas. This is a very old book, but I found another partially done project, and I have the book. So these are just pieces. Okay, this would be a good example, because this is another way that I have done this. Oh no, this was a way of cutting out the pieces, and this is parchment paper. So Carol Saltbox Stitcher shows you how to do the parchment paper to do the pieces. So I have all the pieces for the project in this book, this piece on earth. And I may now be able to do this with a background of wool, or I might use something else. It just depends when I go to do it. But this book, gosh, probably 15, 20 years ago. Another book by Whimsicals. This is the second one I have. But I wanted to show you, gosh, if you could get this book. I didn't even look. Really neat for those of you that like pineapples. This was one of the reasons that I bought the book, because I'm a quilter. This pattern, I loved the pattern, but also notice it's cotton quilt, but these are wool pieces that are added, and I can take this off now. The wool is added to a cotton quilt. So get creative, see what you can do. I just wanted to inspire you on trying different things, using what you have, and just taking advantage of what you were able to do. Here is something interesting. So this is cotton, but again, you could do it wool. This is wool. You could do it cotton. So many different options. And I just would really hope to inspire you or find patterns that are available now. I don't know that Whimsicals is still designing anymore. So when I was on Fiddlesticks Etsy site just now, it was interesting to see. I had already shared about this. This is the one that I'm going to be using wool flannel for the background. She had this kit available, I believe, and it was considerable, because I believe you would be able to get the whole background of that. But this, I can't remember now, but check FiddlesixDesigns out. Is it just the pattern, or is it the kit only? I don't know, but just to see that that's something available. She also had this. This was only a couple dollars. This I bought a long time ago. This is Primitive Gatherings. That is available. What else did she have available? She has quite a few patterns available. So now I want to share with you another designer. And I went and bought these, I want to say maybe it was 7-8 years ago. I bought these patterns, but it's All Through the Night, Bonnie Sullivan. But these are just some patterns that she has. Hopefully, because she has her own website, they would still be available. I have stockings that I want to do. And of course, I'm going to change them up. I already decided. You can't really see that, but I just sit with my cup of coffee and I design things, and I will change it up even though I bought some patterns. Let's see if I can do this without taking them out. Yep, you'd be able to see this. So this is a wool pattern, hopefully still available. I did not take the time to look because I knew I was going to be fighting the light and then my schedule. This one, again, All Through the Night. I have a love of squirrels and oak trees because of our cabin. So look at that. Could be good Americana. And then Autumn's Bounty, a squirrel for fall, all through the night. Then just miscellaneous other patterns that I have. I had picked this up long ago at a store that's been closed down, but you can do small projects. Hatched and Patched. I love Annie Downs' Hatched and Patched designs. They're very fun and whimsical. This is Bird Brain Designs. This is old. I got this from my friend that had given me all that wool felt that I had as my giveaway. This was also in there. So a cute little purse that I could make. I will probably make it a little bit more primitive. Bird Brain Designs does a lot of embroidery, but obviously she does wool as well. Now this Susan Gonzalez, I know I purchased these maybe 2 years ago on Etsy. I found them on Pinterest. I love robins, so I found this on Pinterest. I just found then Susan Gonzalez, and I bought several of her patterns, but it's cotton and wool. There's one. This one is all wool. So that's another one. What's that called? Fern Fronds. And then this one, Fall Bloom, so Goldfinch, Fall Bloom, Fall Flowers, and Finch. So those are hopefully a designer that's still available. This from a shop that's closed down, so I know this was quite a while ago. Bits and Pieces by Joan. But just wanted you to see so many different things available, cotton and wool. So this from a long time ago as well. I need to get busy because I have all these patterns and haven't used these. This, I'm not so into this design anymore because I like more primitive, but these, they're needle books, and it's a anyway, it's got pockets, and I really want to make that. Now, I wanted to do this as it was. So this is Primitive Gatherings. I have seen this done, and it is amazing, but I do not know that I want to piece it this small. It may not be fun to piece that so small, but I really do want to make that quilt, but I may enlarge it just to make the quilting part a little bit easier. I think I shared everything. That's great, because when I do, because I did my FlossTube yesterday, and it was an hour long, and then when I do one day after another, I notice I get really, really tired just from talking so much. But I'm looking to see, did I share everything that I've got? So let me look at my notes and see. Yep. So I will put that link to the light box that I have just to see if that's something that may work for you if you don't have one. Then some people to check out. So I already mentioned Carol, Saltbox Stitcher, had the how she does her wool applique the Maggie way. Then I had already shared about Susan Stanley, her latest FlossTube video. She just got back from a class. I believe she took 2 classes with Maggie Benartex. Awesome. So she shows 2 of her projects, and one of them is a needle book, and that's why I went and bought some linens, because I loved the look of those linens, the hand-dyed linens, to use with my wool. So check out Susan Stanley. Then Under the Woolen Willow is somebody, it's one of our viewers, and she has an Etsy shop. Lisa at Prims on Greenway had a giveaway. She sent some books to Lisa, and Lisa has already sent those out to the winners. And then there are some beginner wool kits available on her site. So check out Under the Woolen Willow Etsy shop. Now, oh, I knew there was something that I was going to tell you, and it just popped out of my head. But we will wrap up. So this is where I just wanted to share a little devotional with you, because I did a longer video yesterday. I just wanted to make this whole thing just a little bit shorter, but this is an old book that I was given as a gift, God's Promises for Your Every Need. And I just was thinking, what do I want to share? And it's just about peace. I'm so excited that I'm taking next week off. So the first week of June, at least, maybe longer, I'm going to take off of work, because I've just been feeling the pressure of the last couple months weighing heavy on me, and I need my mental health of giving myself some time so I can get back into what I need to do. And that's why I'm really excited too about the Wool Along being June 1st, and that's when I'm taking time. So I have exciting things coming up in my life as far as I get a little break. But also that's what I need for my peace as well. So that's why I thought these verses would be lovely to share. So just a couple verses from this whole section. But this is Philippians 4:9. The things which you learned and received and heard and saw in me, these do, and the God of peace will be with you. And I learned about Paul, and just knowing that he was telling his followers, his people, watch me, see what I do those things. And so I shared it other times with how us as parents, we can do that. And at the end of the video, I was just talking about yesterday how the way that we live our life, other people watch us, and hopefully we are preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ to them about how he works in us to give us a hope and a peace. So that was just something kind of to tie in with yesterday. And then Psalm 4:8, I will both lie down in peace and sleep. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. And that's something that I'm really resting in right now as we've gone through 2020, hard hitting in many ways. 2021, not any better in my eyes than 2020. So I can rest in my God. I can pray. I can put my trust in him. I can follow him. I let him take care of the world, and I just need to keep going. But because of him, I can dwell in safety and be ready through his strength for whatever may come my way. Psalm 29:11, the Lord will give strength to his people. The Lord will bless his people with peace. And then finally, John 14:27, peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, do I give to you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. And I was really sharing how I was letting worry and fear just weigh me down. So that was yesterday's FlossTube. And that's where I need to let the peace of Jesus Christ rest in me. He tells us not to worry. He tells us that he will take care of us. Does not mean everything's going to go our way. Does not mean we are not going to have trials, that we are not going to be persecuted. It is a whole different concept of knowing that whatever comes to me, because I'm a child of my God, and I've been saved by faith in Jesus Christ, whatever comes my way comes through the hands of God, and I can rest in that. And that's what I just need to choose to do. I need to choose joy, nevertheless. I need to choose that peace and rest, and to be wise in these times. For me, I know I need time off. That's how I need to be wise right now. And I get to do my stitching. I get to do what I love and be with the people that I love. And so that will be awesome, and I'm looking forward to that. So I pray that you would enjoy this wool along, enjoy your stitching. Memorial Day is coming up, and the memory of those people who have gone before us and suffered and died because they have fought for our freedom. And I think that's a very hard thing right now, because many of us are seeing that our freedoms in the United States have been given away. And that's a very hard thing that I'm working through right now. I am so grateful for those people that have sacrificed and given so that I could be free. And I can pray for the wisdom of those people that are in power right now that are taking my freedoms away. Again, I put it in God's hands. I do what I need to do. And so I will choose to be grateful, and I will choose to remember those who have sacrificed and those families who have sacrificed. Whenever I come in contact with people either in the military or in law enforcement, I tell them how grateful I am that they are there, that they are sacrificing, and that their families are sacrificing for my freedom and for my safety. So I leave that with you. Pray that you have a blessed weekend, and I look forward to sharing more wool with you and seeing when we do that hashtag woolalongfriends what other people are doing. So God bless you. Thank you guys.